We support the prevention of the Iranian regime having a nuclear weapon. We had obviously proposed, as other European countries had, a peaceful diplomatic means in order to try and get to that objective. That was opposed not least by the Iranians themselves, and this has been the consequences of it. But Iran having a nuclear weapon would be a threat to international and to this country's security. That's not something any responsible British government could countenance. So this wouldn't have been the means that we would have proposed, but I can't tell you anything other than it is in our interest for Iran not to have this capacity.
Well, you can, because a few hours ago, in the early hours of this morning, the British government was opposed to the US bombing Iran. President Trump went and did it. Do you think that was the right thing to do? Because a few hours ago you thought it wasn't.
Look, we wanted a diplomatic, peaceful means, but I can't possibly tell you anything other than Iran must not have a nuclear weapon because of the consequences that would have for the region, for ourselves. It's very important, I think.
Well, you could in plain language for our viewers say whether the British government thought actually we should not have bombed, the US should not have bombed Iran last night.
Look, we wanted a peaceful means to the same objective, but I cannot possibly tell you. Because of how that regime behaves, because of the threat it poses to the region, the threat it poses to this country. You know, there is not a week that goes by without some kind of Iranian cyber attack on our critical national infrastructure. There are things we have to do regularly to protect against operations on British soil by Iranian authorities, including operations against Iranian nationals who are dissidents to that regime. So that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've got to be absolutely clear on that. We proposed, as you'd always, I think, want, the British people would want their government to try and get through a peaceful diplomatic means to objectives like this. But it hasn't succeeded on this occasion. Having removed this threat, if that is what has happened, of course we all have an interest in de-escalation and stability.